Konnichiwa, my friends. Welcome back to Euro Truck Simulator 2, and welcome back to Project Japan. We have not visited the land of the rising sun in a ridiculous amount of time. I'm I'm kind of having difficulty trying to figure out when the last time was that we dipped in here. I think it has to be sometime around the beginning of this year because in between my desire to do more flights again in flight sim after I remembered to use my joystick and throttle quadrant and had a great time flying, and then I went back into flying the business jet. I decided to do a bunch of scenery development, which is nowhere near being done, but I mean, the habit's back. My desire to create objects and airports is back, and I'm trying to make the most of my current situation and, make these things happen by the grace of God. But one funky thing, since Forza Horizon 6 is now early access and is released for public consumption, a lot of people are in Japan. And last night, even I was in Japan, but I wasn't in Forza Horizon 6. I was in Assetto Corsa, ripping around the Bayside Road and some other parts of Greater Tokyo Metro in a Porsche. This this is not a Porsche. This is actually a Renault, a French truck in Japan of all places. So we're going to reprise the role of Tanaka Hirasaki, and we're going to continue making some deliveries in Project Japan. And if the muse strikes, I will also take a few moments to set up my not that recently, but recently purchased Stream Deck, which isn't an actual Elgato Stream Deck, but basically a imitation, which still has, I think, 15 instead of 18 buttons. But the cool part is, I can do things with the buttons much like a typical Stream Deck, and it's basically a fraction of the cost of what I would have paid for the official product. So, if we pull over to a rest stop and I start to map shortcuts to keys, the music or the sound effects will go away for a little bit, and then we'll start figuring out how to push those buttons when we actually, need to do stuff in the game and I don't feel like using the keyboard. I mean, te- technically speaking, technically speaking, it would basically have been about as good as using the keyboard, but give, give Digi some room. Like we're cooking here. We're trying to figure out what the best approach is for stuff like this. So we're we're gonna take this a step at a time, and we're gonna do our best to enjoy the experience. So again, Euro Truck Simulator 2, and we're in between Kobe and Osaka. We just finished delivering something. I don't know when, but basically, we're looking for a new job. So let's go ahead and let's take a look at where we are. It's getting dark. It's like past 5 over there. I mean, theoretically, right now it's 4 a.m. actual time in the greater Tokyo area. But this is not Tokyo. This is Osaka and Kobe. Now, I am literally in the lot of a delivery company, so I can go ahead, get my truck turned around, and see what they have. Okay, just checking my sound levels to see whether or not they're going to be an issue. Let me know if it's too quiet or too loud, and we'll do our best to get this sorted. Yeah, today we'll do some deliveries. We'll just get the see if I can get my imitation Stream Deck hooked up to help me out, do some cool things. I'm not expecting to do anything drastic or significant with this. We're just going to see what happens. So, first delivery of the day. What will it be? I don't know. I have not been to Takayama in a long time. And this is one of those kind of like interesting routes. I think this is like a two-lane divided highway. But since I don't feel like going anywhere else and we've got some time on our hands, let's take it. Used plastics. Let's go. Oh, it's waiting for me in the back. How about that? All right, great. That's hooked up. And again, a warm welcome to everybody that's hanging out tonight. And for those folks that are going to come in a little bit later, hey, we're in Euro Truck Simulator 2, and we're going to have some fun doing a little bit of delivery. Nice traffic, nice weather. Hopefully it doesn't get too stormy, but we'll do our best. Yahweh Elohim, let this stream be for your glory. In Jesus' name. Amen. Let's roll, kids. Off to Takayama. Yay. So, gonna be a little tricky. Oh, not too bad. Okay. Okay, we'll deal. We'll deal. Cool. How was your Saturday? How was your weekend? I hope it is very well. I slid into, last night we settled in, hung out with Mrs. DIGI for a bit, and then I streamed Assetto Corsa, driving around Greater Metro Tokyo, excuse me. And then, what else was it that I did? Well, I mean, not much. I went to bed eventually, woke up and made breakfast, hung out for a bit, and then hung out for a while with Mrs. DIGI today, and decided to do a stream, and this is where we are. I think at some point I would like to stream American Truck Simulator again and get over to Illinois, buy the DLC for it. Don't have the funds at the moment. I mean, I certainly would appreciate any help to the same, but if all you can do is hang out, if all you can do is lurk, I appreciate you being here. We could be here for a while today. It could just be, a couple of runs and a quick Stream Deck configuration session, and then I'd be done for the day. But always appreciate the company. And I think changing things up and playing ETS from time to time is a great change up to what I usually do, which is hop in the sim or try to create assets for Microsoft Flight Sim. But at the same time, it's been a while since I've done scenery development using Blender, and I am starting to get back into that. If you are not a member of my Discord, then You might have missed some of my updates with regards to objects that I'm building, trying to relearn or get my chops for using Blender to create objects, which I will import into Microsoft Flight Simulator. I can also use Blender to create or export those same objects for X-Plane 12 as well. So it's not just one way. Like, we could do it for that sim as well. I just haven't I haven't tried exporting custom objects for that sim yet. I might try it over the summer and see where we go. Excuse me. I mean, I do use both Microsoft Flight Simulator, FS 2024 and X-Plane. So it would make sense for me to try my hand at building an airport scenery there and seeing where it goes. And the ecosystem, of course, and the build tools and all these other things, they're they're significantly different than what you'd expect or not expect. What you'd use if you were creating custom scenery for FS 2020 or 2024. Goes with the territory, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Sorry, temporarily muted myself. I was clearing my throat. I think I think I might actually take a legit break at a rest area if we go for any period of time, so that I can get something to drink and just make sure I'm doing okay. But I had in mind to visit a rest area or two, so I might actually do that. Oops. Well, I'm glad I just dented the truck and not the cargo. But getting through toll booths in Project Japan is always a kind of like, not exactly a gut check moment, but I'm gonna I'm gonna try my best to pay attention. And even when I do that, I'm a little too close to the bump to the the raised sidewalk on the one side or something on the other, so I wind up like hitting it like I just did. But it's okay. If the damage is purely cosmetic, I can find a repair shop, get those dents dinged out, and be on our way. I have driven in a bunch of areas in this map DLC already. I can't say I've driven absolutely everywhere, but much like ATS, I also believe there are hidden, or what's the phrase, undisclosed areas that are that are not immediately visible on a map, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So I might try to discover a few of them at some point in the future. I don't know if I want to try discovering them when I'm carrying cargo, of course, because that could turn out to be disastrous if it was a really sharp curve and I wreck my truck, or I don't wreck my truck, but I wreck my cargo delivery. So it's not something I want to do. What's the phrase? Haphazardly. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. Ooh, look at that. That's a beautiful sunset right there. Can I? What is it? Yeah, there we go. Equals is the camera mode for pictures. Look at that. Look at that. That's fantastic. That's a pretty good shot actually, surprisingly. To me at least. I don't know. All right. That's good. Nippon, let's go. Kev Sim Corner, hello as well. And hello, Cargo Fire. Um, Welcome to you both. Great to have you aboard. I'm sorry I didn't reply sooner. I I can check my comments more easily than when I'm like playing a game like Assetto Corsa, but sometimes the maneuvering gets a little bit tricky. But good to see you both. Welcome aboard. We are in Euro Truck Simulator 2 and we are using a Project Japan mod, which is a fairly old version of ETS2. We're on version 1.53, but we are in Japan. There's a Project Japan mod that you can use to drive many of the roads in what I would call um, the larger island and islands of Japan. Uh, I forget what the name for the landmass, what the categorization for the landmass is, but basically, you know, the island of Honshu as opposed to Hokkaido, unless I've got that backwards. In any event, we are hauling cargo over to Takayama. We are about to board a ship, and as long as I get my port correct, we should be heading in the right direction. But yeah, I'm a big fan of you know Japanese car culture as well as driving on Japanese roads. So getting a chance like this to haul cargo is a great opportunity. And again, thanks so much for stopping in and saying hello. That means a lot to me. Now, I think it's Kanazawa that we have to go to. That's correct. Of course, like I said before, folks, if for some reason my volume levels are too quiet or too loud, let me know. I'll always do my best to try to diagnose them or deal with them. Unless, of course, it's a known issue like, hey, something about mic quality or the way certain sounds happen. I can I've been getting braver with increasing my game volume because in old streams that I used to do, I noticed on playback many times the sound was quite low and my microphone volume is quite high. My microphone volume is still, I would say, high, but I've also changed my positioning and I've tried some new techniques to deal. So I definitely want to bring more of the, sim or game sounds for whatever it is I'm playing to the fore to enjoy myself and to have you guys enjoy the experience as well. I got plenty of gas and I've got about 2 hours and 24 minutes of sim time. I forget what the differential is on sim time versus real driving, but because the map scale in Project Japan is closer to 110 as opposed to 119 across most of the standard map in ETS2, it's going to take a little longer to get from place to place, and that's cool. It takes a little bit longer, the speed limits are a little bit lower, which means you spend more time on a regular basis going from point to point. Important is your voice. Yeah. Now, I think it was Kev or Kev Mikwa that taught me it's okay to have the volume level for the sim go like up to the top of the green, even maybe even flirt a little bit with yellow because you want sound, like you want lots of sound. And again, I think before I was like, oh no, wait, it's too loud, it's too loud, and it was never too loud, it was too quiet. Thank you, appreciate it. Now, to the uninitiated, this map mod is challenging, and not for the reasons you'd think. The roads are narrow, and you have to watch yourself because you don't necessarily go into blind corners, but the problem is the traffic goes like right up to the light, Sometimes traffic will accidentally, maybe even deliberately, cut you off. And I've been I've been crossing an intersection, and there have been a non-zero number of times when someone ran a red light and hit my truck. I'm not even joking. Like it happened. And I was like, what? Yeah. Yeah, like accidents happen. And this stretch of road in particular that I'm heading into, this seems to be a magnet for AI merging issues. This section right there, where they merge from two lanes to one, if you get enough AI cars together, there's this kind of like first person to get slows down and stops everyone else problem. And if you've watched any of my Project Japan streams in the past, you will know I have had to cross the median multiple times to get around AI traffic that just doesn't want to move. And this isn't even because there's an accident, it's just because they stop and they don't keep going. I have yet to understand precisely why that's the case. Ooh, Subaru STI. I like it, clearly. Now, on the subject of vehicles, I know. People are talking about Forza Horizon 6, so let's drink some of the tea. Um, I've been a big fan of Japanese car culture for a while. Um, I remember what old Nissans and Mazdas and Hondas used to look like. Um, I'm gonna be this. This probably isn't a hot take because probably more than one person has said this before. I'm not a huge fan of the direction that modern vehicle design is going. So, you know, I'll I'll drive an STI if somebody gives me, if somebody gives me the opportunity to use it correctly, and I'll I'll drive a Camaro if somebody gives me the keys and says, "Hey, I'm bored with this car. I'm giving it to you. There you go." I will, but I think the way that things have been redesigned, it just it's different for me. I mean, okay, call me call me an old hermit if you want, but I see like, late model Toyota Celicas. I see early to mid 90s model Nissan Skylines. I see mid 90s Toyota Supras, and I feel like there was something in the design or in the I don't know, the zeitgeist of the time for design. Each era had its like standout vehicle. I I'm more a fan of the old designs than the new ones, but I mean, you can only hold on to an old car for so long. You can only hold on to an old truck for so long. Even the even if you had a high ace, or if you had an old Toyota 4Runner, or whatever the old Toyota pickup trucks were. I forget what the name was. It was like, what? Somebody help me in chat. There were these old Toyota trucks from like the mid 80s that just would not like refused to quit on people. I forget what they were called, but whatever the case was, like the I don't know, the design, the thinking of the time produced vehicles that were superb. I'm not saying we're past that. I'm not saying every single vehicle sucks. No, I'm not. There's plenty of cars to like, and there's the new design trend is plenty of winners. But ooh, is that a jet fighter? Wow, that's an Easter egg. Ooh, another one. Wow. Now that definitely is an Easter egg. I don't know if they time certain events through the year, but I can tell you, like that's the first time I've seen planes go through there, and that's the first time I've seen jet fighters go through here. That was pretty cool. I think you're right. I think you're right on the first one. I think it was called the Hilux. It was just this like, you know, mid to late '80s Toyota pickup that just was so capable, or at least it was made out to be a very capable truck. Okay, something is definitely up now. That's the third jet fighter that's flown over. The fourth. Oh, this is dope. This is absolutely dope. I mean, I don't think they're after me. I hope, but I I usually don't see that much airplane activity, except if I'm on a highway and I'm driving past an airport. But that's cool. And the Forerunner started, I think, as uh, a pickup that had like a covered bed. I think, or it could be something else. That is so cool. These jet fighters keep flying overhead. That's fantastic. or or I broke a major regulation somewhere and they're coming to arrest me. I don't know. I certainly hope not, but I don't think I did anything dumb just now. That's so cool that I saw those jet fighters though. Yeah, I mean, all that to say, I like older vehicles more than new ones. But I mean, certainly from the perspective of needing to drive a reliable daily driver, um, you know, some newer vehicles are probably going to do a lot better than vehicles that are like 40, 50, 60 years old, unless unless the old vehicles are like ridiculously, meticulously well kept. Which is why I'm a huge fan of, late model Porsches. Specifically like 911s or 964 chassis two-door Porsches from like the mid to late 90s. I'm a sucker for a good Porsche Targa. I'm gonna say I am gonna say there's a lot more electronics that have gone into vehicles since then or around that time. I owned I owned a 2010 Subaru sometime in the past, and basically the jump that I made from that vehicle to future vehicles was every time I switched cars, I noticed that there were, more and more systems going in. Like, we went from having a radio with a cassette player to having a radio with a CD player with a slightly larger screen to having an entertainment system that I think still took a CD but basically had a much larger screen, to now where we don't even stick CDs in our cars anymore, and like the screen goes from like almost the top of the dash to just about the shifter. Am I a big fan of that? I mean, I'm not gonna lie. It makes me feel let's indulge a bit. It kind of makes me feel important. It makes me feel like I got into, a really expensive car. But I mean, from the perspective of long-term maintenance, it means there's more parts that are going to have to be maintained or replaced at some point. So, you buy in, that's what you pay for. Um, a part of me remembers what driving used to be like, or how I handled driving. Like when, you know, I was one of the only traction control systems in a vehicle, when I had to roll down my windows manually. Um, and I look back at that with nostalgia, but obviously we easily forget what what it was like to drive a car like that when it seemed like other people that had more money had like really expensive vehicles. turns out, turns out, a lot of the people that actually had quote unquote money didn't actually drive or were in very expensive vehicles. They probably drove cars like you and I did, and they were very low key about it, which is cool to me. If you can't see the display in bright light, that's regression. Interesting point. I mean, like, I try to I try to employ a good a good not a good instrument sweep. What I'm trying to say, I try to employ a good sweep when I'm driving. I'm not saying I'm a safety nut. I should be. I'm not saying I'm a safety nut. I'm just saying, in terms of looking at things, I do occasionally glance over at the display, and if you drive any vehicles that have adaptive cruise or anything like that, you usually have, or I'm assuming you'll probably have, some kind of indicator on your literal windshield, or that reflects on your windshield, that says, hey, adaptive cruise control is on, and something like that. But you know, there was a time when we didn't have it. I guess what I'm trying to say. I'm not here to debate that. Like, I don't necessarily care. I like it when it works. I don't like it when it doesn't. Um, and I understand sometimes it is important for you to fully drive the car yourself. Maybe I'd be drinking more Kool-Aid if the car designs were a little bit different. But I mean, you do you. To each their own in terms of their preferences for car design and stuff like that. With that said, a funny thing started happening not that long ago in Euro Truck Simulator and American Truck Simulator. For years, and I mean years, I drove the same tractor trailer in ETS2 in the main Europe map. It was, I think, like a Volvo GH or something, or FH, like 750 or whatever it was. And then basically, after about 10 years, I kind of looked up and I saw that a lot of the DLC, or a lot of the new trucks that were coming in, had, different headlights. They had like cruise systems. They had, like, digital displays, not digital displays, like screens. And I'm like, whoa, this is interesting. And the even if I'm on the main Europe map, the one of the truck manufacturers, I think Iveco, they made a point of bringing in a totally electric truck, which has a, I think, ridiculous amount of low end torque, as probably most electrics do. But what's interesting to me is how, new technology has kind of come in, even into even into what am I trying to say? Even into these games, which is cool. Now, in ATS, in American Truck Sim, I tried driving, I think, newer trucks as well as older ones. I decided to buy a Mack truck, but I didn't buy, I think I bought the old one at first. I think that one's called the Mack Vision. And the funny thing is, the standard horn that it comes with is hilarious. I like it. Also, the engine, the whine on the turbo is very very prevalent. Like you can easily hear it. But I normally drive a Peterbilt, and I had it in mind to, swap into a Mac, and I even thought about, like, getting a loan in the sim to get it. But I'm glad I didn't because the more I drove the Peterbilt, the more I got to liking it, and the more I realized it's one of the fastest trucks in the sim. And I have like a hill climb package on it, which means it's easier for me to haul very heavy cargo. And the engine that I have is literally the top of the line, so I don't have some of the problems I used to have driving in states like California or like up in like probably Montana or Idaho. So that's a thing. Let's see, right turn, right turn. Right, there's the town. We are almost there. About 5 minutes to go, and that'll be the first delivery. And this town, I'm sure, has a garage that I can go to get my truck patched up. Not bad. Not bad. Fuzzy Pickles. Thank you so much for tuning in today. May the Lord bless you and encourage you, my brother. Good to see you. Welcome. We are pulling into our first delivery of the day. We departed, I want to say, Osaka, and we rode a ferry over to the north shore of Japan. We're coming into Takayama, and we're going to be making our first delivery, which is, I think, recycled plastic. All right, I think. Is this it? Yes, it is. All right, here we are. Oh, wait. Hang on. Job type selection, but wait. I think I went into the wrong area. It makes no sense. It's the next one over. Also, this is one of the funny things about Project Japan. I neglected to mention the difficulty rating on this is actually a little bit higher than you would expect because two things. Number one, number one, the roads are challenging. Number two, wait a minute, it was there. Duh. Hang on. Digi is confused. Chat, standby. So it is here, but why didn't I find a place where I was supposed to drop it off? Because it was on my left. Okay, so turning around was a good idea. Just not to go back to the same place. Whoops. All right. This is the place. Hello. All right. Let's build a little skill here. Got to build those reversing muscles back up. So we've got what looks like two containers combined of used plastics that we're going to be dropping off. And this is the tricky part, the very tricky part. All right. So, yeah. Turn right to go left. Turn left to go right. Right? I'll be fixing this a little bit, I'm sure. The irony of this is that I used to be a much better reversing driver on the keyboard for some reason, and I think it has something to do with just having a much better kind of like control over what you're doing. Don't know. Okay, so let's have a little bit of fun. Um, set the parking brake, turn the truck off. Now, I want to set up some shortcuts for this. So let me go into my device, my let's see, device for this. I'm going to build a new scene. Wait. Okay. Yeah. So actually, I don't need this scene. I want to delete that page. I want to add a new screen. Okay. First thing I'm going to do is build a button. How do I actually do this? Key. Stream controller toolbox. Hotkey. Yeah. Let's build a hotkey. And I'm going to use the trailer hitch detach. Click to assign via keyboard input, and we're going to, no, we're going to use the button T. All right. First test. Here we go. Ooh, there we go. I just hit a button on the Stream Deck and I unhitched. Okay, so 15 hours and 12 minutes of simulated time, and we have made our first delivery. Now, let's take a look and see what the current company has for us. Ooh, refrigerated goods. We can go back to Tokyo, or we can go to Kitakyushu by means of Osaka, I believe. We can also take toys to Suita, which is kind of fun because there's going to be a fairly extensive highway system we're going to be on. And that pays about 745,000 yen. Yeah, that's pretty good. We'll take that. Okay, now, before I do anything else, let's add a few more shortcuts. Let's see. Um, Towing. Let me add another hotkey, which is going to be engine. And I'm going to say E. Oh my goodness. This is low key satisfying. Building shortcuts as we go. Okay, so we're taking toys down to Suita, which is outside of um, Osaka and Kobe, way east of Kobe. And the next thing I want to do is probably go find the. Oh wait, I have my parking brake set. Hang on. Which one is it? Is it B? It's not B. It's M. No, it's space. It's space. It gotta be space. Yep, that's what it is. Now, I mean, these are default mappings. So if I change my mappings, I have to change my Stream Deck assignments. But I'm having fun. Let's say parking brake, and we're gonna say space. Parking brake. There we go. The Stream Deck is new. Yes, it is. It's something that I haven't used yet, but I'm getting the hang of it. It's not an Elgato. It's a cheaper variety. It's Fun, and apparently it's got more than a little bit of support. Lyles, good to see you, my friend. Welcome. We are in Japan and we are trucking. We are not in Forza Horizon 6, although I might get that at some point in the near future. I dabbled a little in Forza Horizon 5 at one point when I sampled the Xbox Game Pass, but I didn't like it because it wasn't in an area that I took interest driving in. So Japan is, as you can clearly see, more of an interesting place to me. Now, I'm going to cross over because I want to go fix up my truck, and then we're going to go and hit the road again. All right. Let's service the truck. Total is 308,000 yen. Okay, so that's where the drivetrain took most of the damage from my bump, which makes perfect sense. The cabin I don't care about. So, do I really want to care about 3% damage? Nah, you know what? No, no, I'm good. I'm good. Anything less to me than 5% right now is probably cool. I'm glad you're enjoying it, Fuzzy Pickles. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I am interested in trying it at some point. I just think with my current setup right now, um, I want to I want to see what everybody else does and just get the other have the company work out the kinks, if you will. And then I'll probably be more adept to jumping on board. I might even install it on my plate drive or the old mechanical hard drive to see what it plays like and just accept the longer load times. But if it's not a very large install and most of it is streamed, then I might actually try it sooner. I guess it depends. I mean, I'm the person that kind of likes cruising around more. I do like a little bit of story. I mean, I did play through Tokyo Extreme Racer 1 and 2 on the Dreamcast, as well as Import Tuner Challenge, but it's not um, it's not front of mind for me right now. But I don't mind seeing other people play it, like you. So thank you for purchasing it. It will be interesting to see how it plays out, especially since we have it in early access at the moment. At the beginning of the year, they had Tokyo Extreme Racer in early access. I think it just finished releasing. Like, I think it just went gold, but I don't know. I mean, Tokyo Extreme Racer is way more invested in the racing scene, whereas Forza Horizon has always been way more of a overall experience, if you will. But I said this before, if I had a chance to play the original Forza Horizon, I probably would. Yeah, yeah. I mean, you do early access release. It's what most people hope for is most likely a fully completed game. What you'll usually wind up getting is more than a beta and less than a completely, totally taken care of, final release. I'm sure there's going to be bits and pieces that aren't going to work perfectly, and there may be a few bits and pieces that won't work at all. But I would imagine the latter is way more in the minority than, say, like I would imagine they're not going to release a game that has ridiculous glaring problems, or if they do, they're probably well on a path to fixing them. But I also don't have 70 bucks for the early access release, so I'm gonna have to wait. Now, I think clearly there are ways around that. Um, One way is probably to get a cheaper release key from somewhere. Another way is probably to sample it through the Game Pass option. So that's a thing. I mean, I can always get the Game Pass again and sample it. So I'm minding my options. They're much better than Bethesda at catching bugs. They had an even earlier release for some content creators a few weeks ago. That's right. I think there was some kind of early access kind of, preview thing. I do believe you are correct. All right. Get more over to the right side. Yeah, there you go. Okay. I think you're right. Of course, if I play games like Assetto Corsa, especially if I play games like the Project Japan mod for ETS, guess what's gonna happen? I'm I'm probably gonna want to eat ramen later. And no joke, I'm gonna wrap this up, and I'm probably gonna go over to the kitchen and make myself a bowl of ramen. No, no, I'm not being stupid. This is a legit behavior. If I play this long enough, and if the muse strikes, I'm gonna make myself soup. I'm probably gonna do that this afternoon, and it gets better. I have udon noodles in the freezer waiting for me. Right, Fuzzy? So, like I said, I have noodles waiting for me, and I can do that. And I can probably make some for Mrs. Digi. Like, without even breaking a sweat. So, oh, man. Again, everybody, thanks so much for coming out today and for hanging out for a little while. Um, Hopefully you had a great week, and this is a nice chance for you to wind down. I'm still, I'm kerbobbled by the fact that we're almost coming up on Memorial Day weekend next week. We're literally on the cusp of what many would call the unofficially official start to summer. And I don't know, like I was playing games like this and doing programming, back in like January, February, and being like, oh wow, another start to the year. Let's make some really cool stuff. And I did. Then I powered down for a little while my IRL job got busy, and then I my brain cooked for a little while, and then I got back to where I am now. You're making me hungry. Then you won't like what I'm about to tell you. Uh, the uh, the inspiration for many of these journeys or discussions stems from the occasional road trips that Mrs. Digi and I take to Asian supermarkets to get things to snack on. Usually it's things and candy to snack on, but occasionally we get food to try. The last time that we went to an Asian supermarket and got a really great grab bag of stuff was, I want to say, about 4 weeks ago. And we had a weekend. We went to Paris Baguette. We ate some food, and then we went into the supermarket, and we we got some snacks, we got some candy, and we got some food to make at home. And I got two interesting frozen food items. One was like cheesy breaded pork loin, and the other was this spicy beef, like almost like spicy beef patties, but basically about the size of a deck of cards each. I One night I decided I was going to make them. They were incredible. Super spicy, not blaringly hot, but they tasted so good. Like ridiculously good. And I had that with sweet potatoes, and it was a really good meal. It was a really good meal. I think I want to experiment more again with making those kinds of things. So I'm what's the word I'm looking for? I'm more adventurous, or I'm trying to be a little adventurous because it keeps the interest in cooking, and I want to keep cooking. Now, Mrs. Digi has been stepping up to the plate and cooking more, which is superb. And again, if any of you have been following my journey lately, the past few years, Mrs. Digi is mobility limited, so I help her get around. I push her around in a wheelchair. She is going to be going in very soon for the first of multiple treatments, which may actually help her return to the kind of mobility she used to have. I am praying that's the case. I don't know what's going to happen. I genuinely don't know. Uh, it's been a journey. It's been a frustrating journey sometimes. My prayer is that Yahweh Elohim helps us. And you all know how much of an amazing woman Mrs. Digi is. If you don't, let me just put it to you this way. She's a blessing to me from God. And not that anything else needs to be said, but on top of that, the first desktop PC that I used for streaming and the current one I'm using were both decisions that she made to get me into a better place to stream. So she funded and cheerleaded the decision to um, get these desktops for me, and I am privileged to be doing this. I've been thinking about time lately as well, time with friends and family. Um, the past 5 years, I've had more than a few people that I've known in my life pass
Final
on.
approach checklist complete.
Hey, Iowa Scotsman, thank you so much for the Tier 1 58 months. My friend, welcome back. We are in ETS 2 and we are in Japan. And while some people are in Forza Horizon 6 or Assetto Corsa, I find myself in Euro Truck Simulator delivering toys to the greater Osaka metropolitan area. We are leaving the northern portion, the northern shores of the midsection of Japan to hop a boat to go back over to Osaka and drive over to our destination. In fact, I might even drive over to Kobe just to be on the highway, which takes me there more quickly, to be honest. But yeah, we were just going on. I was just bragging on how much of a blessing my wife is and how much we lean on each other, in these times. Uh, Turns out when you slow down and you listen to your significant other, not saying that I do that perfectly, and I need a lot more help in that department, but when you take time to be with someone and you hear them out, there are things about them that you know you come to understand or respect or marvel at with regards to them, their strength, their capacity to just get from one end of the day to the other. My wife is a veritable juggernaut, and she's pushing through each day with everything she has. I wish I had a better way of being able to take care of her so she could get more medicine, but I think we're working on that, and I think the Lord understands. Um, Through all the difficulties that we've had, through all the stuff that we've traded in, sold, or gotten rid of to pay our bills, there's been a greater sense of fellowship, a greater sense of connectedness. We I mean, I can't speak for her. I can only speak for myself. I've relearned, how to laugh in some of the moments of life that are just confusing or rough. And we've um, we've grown together. It's awesome. But welcome, welcome. We are coming into Kanazawa, and we are about to board a boat to go over to. I think I'm going to go to Kobe because that highway is going to be a straighter shot to Suita. I think. I think. As a matter of fact, let me check the map real fast. Let me check the map. If I go, we're eventually going to wind up here, but if I go in from Kobe, where's the port? The port in Kobe is here, which means it's going to be an even straighter shot to the highway. Okay, great, great. I'm settled then. We're going to Kobe. All right. I am driving a Renault, a French truck, and we are in Japan, and we are heading over to the port to board a boat now. Whoa. See, I told you. You gotta pay attention. You really do have to pay attention to traffic in this game. Uh, that was an utter surprise. Okay. Now, I don't think I need to use buttons on the Stream Deck for things like my turn signals. Maybe for my hazards. No, I have that mapped. I have that mapped to my joystick, so that's fine. And I also have my windshield wipers mapped. Do I have my high beams mapped? Yeah, yeah. There's a bunch of stuff I have mapped already. There were just some things that I didn't have mapped that I think come in handy occasionally. I'm having fun experimenting today. But yeah, also, if you're not a part of the Discord and you're wondering what's been going on lately, I have been getting back into the habit of creating custom scenery for Microsoft Flight Simulator. I am slowly revamping some of the buildings that I've released with my very first FS 2024 scenery, Higginsville Industrial Municipal Airport, which is a tiny little GA airport in Higginsville, Missouri. I'm going to start going through the airports that I built in FS 2020 and remake them in FS 2024. It's going to take me time, but seeing as how I want to focus, you know, significantly on that and not spend too much time on other pursuits, I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful that I will be able to get these maps done. And like I said before, this seems to be the AI problem. Look, there's an accident up ahead. I'm wondering if either of those white cars are going to move. I don't think they will, so I'm probably going to get a violation from someone because I could literally be waiting there for about 10, 15 minutes unless they despawn after like about 5 or 6 minutes. I forget how that works. So yeah, yeah, that kind of merge problem occurs. And okay, we're clear. we're we're clear now, or at least I'm going for it. Is the better phrase. This is good stuff. Oh, Cargo Fire, if you're still here, are you gonna be on Twitch tomorrow, or are you on a different platform? I understood based on the update that you put in your Discord that you were going to be on Twitch. That's what I presume. Just my best guess. All right, we are at the pier and we're going to board the boat very shortly. All right, now, does everybody have their documentation and papers handy? Here we go. Dude, not for nothing. I think I am feeling some ramen later. See? I told you. I told you. Playing this game may be hazardous to your waistline. Also, it doesn't help that I watched a documentary uh, last night, literally, about folks living in South Korea and living in Korea, excuse me, and like the food culture and just the culture. So yeah, yeah. There's most likely going to be some ramen consumed later. Don't hit the water closet, DIGI. All right, looks like we're getting a little bit of an afternoon sprinkle as we board. And let's pick our destination. Not Misaki, not Tokyo, not there. Oh, I can't pick Kobe? That's a little weird. Maybe it's literally based on where we're departing from. I'm guessing that's the case. All right, welcome back to Osaka. And let me take a look at the map real quick. Yeah, we're in Osaka proper, which means we're going to be getting on Route 5. Now, if I wanted to be persnickety about it, we could we could go through 4 to I think Route 16 and then take Route 1 up to Route 11 to E1 to what's the company name is Progress Find. So we just came in on the ship. Yeah, yeah, I've been on that route many times before. So I think what's going to happen is when we get on the highway, I'm not going to go on Route 5. I'm going to take Route 16. So we'll see. I'm going to have to pay attention to the signage because it's going to be a little confusing. Like my usual route is something that I usually take without thinking very hard. So I'm going to have to be very deliberate. I'm going to have to be deliberate. Mrs. Digi and I also talked a bit about bucket list trips. We are thinking about going to both Korea and to Japan. I figure if I'm ever going to find myself in Japan, I'm going to be doing an experience trip. Probably spending a minimum of 2 weeks there because I'm going to want to go to both the island of Hokkaido and the island of Honshu and everything associated. So basically, Hokkaido, I want to go to Sapporo. Honshu, I might go to Sendai. Definitely going to Tokyo. Most likely going to Osaka, and likely, highly likely, that I want to go visit Hiroshima and or Nagasaki. And then maybe wind up in Fukuoka. And I mean, this is a whole shot scenario. This is like, okay, Digi made it, or Digi is doing something international, so he's going to be spending some time in like Japan and Korea. So I would probably do something like that. I'd probably go to Japan first, then Korea, then fly home or something. I don't know. I don't know. It's kind of fun to decide or to determine whether or not that's going to be something I do. I mean, I would certainly be interested in going to Japan for the cuisine, for sure. And to eat, quite possibly eat my weight in ramen. But not to be, crazy touristy, or to like, do a bunch of stuff like, oh, like, um I'm gonna go to places and like, like do the usual stuff. Ha, ha, ha. No, I really want to make it meaningful. And to some extent, I sometimes wonder if, me simply trying to do anything like that, I'm going to stick out like a sore thumb because I am, an outsider trying to learn more about Japan. But I also think that anybody that sees or that pays attention to, let me see, which way do I want to go? Do I want to go to 16 or do I want to go to 5? I want to go to 16. Anyone that pays attention to what I what I'm trying to do is probably going to be like, oh, okay, okay. This dude wants to learn more about the culture. They want to do the stuff that actually happens. So that's my perspective, at least. Uh, Excuse me, friend. I'm going to merge over. Yeah, I wanted to take Route 16 because I usually don't go this way. Being on the road like this makes me think about growing up. Um, I spent a very good portion of my life, to this day, in Mid Atlantic, USA. I've been to places like Boston, New York, Philly, DC, and I used to do a lot more driving than I currently do right now, which is barely any. So being on roads like this at night makes me remember what it was like to, go to work or go visit friends. Um, I was fortunate. Most, like a lot of the friends that I knew or that I know all lived within probably like, you know, 10, 20 mile radius. Not even. So it was like I didn't have to go very far, but there were more than a few times when, like, if I wanted to go to the mall or if I wanted to, go somewhere, anywhere in particular that was outside my town, I'd get in a car and drive for a while. And during the cold months in the mid Atlantic, as you can imagine, the days get shorter, the nights get longer. So I spent a good chunk of time on highways. So I, you know, got used to being on divided highways, seeing the street lights, go past me, passing other cars, just like settling into a groove. Back in the days when people spent time in their cars, but basically, the car wasn't like as far advanced as it is now, or like, we weren't as busy as we were, or maybe not as distracted as we were, but certainly as engaged as we are now. It was different. It was definitely different. Do I exit here? I think I am. No, no, I'm not going to, because that's gonna. Yeah, yeah. It's the next exit. Oh, okay. 40 is the speed limit here. That's fine. I wonder why. That's a little bit of a hiccup, isn't it? Okay, so we have to exit here. See you later, small truck. And then we go and we make a left. And then I think we're in Osaka proper now. All the lights in the buildings. This is kind of cool. I like being on roads like this. This is the exploration, even on a small map like this, just pays dividends when you drive past places that really, really are complex and varied. Let me grab a screenshot. Let's see. Right about here. Ooh, good shot. Yeah, that'll do. I think that's why I've liked trucking in ETS and ATS for as long as I have. It reminds me of the old rhythm, the old desire to drive. Um, to sort my thoughts out on a nice slab of road for 20 minutes, 40 minutes, an hour and a half, and just leave my thoughts open before the Lord. Oh man, this is why I like games like this. Later tonight, I will not be streaming, but I'll probably be catching up with some other friends on Twitch or otherwise. And I might do a little bit of flying with them. I don't know. I think I go this way. I think I do go this way. Let's see. I have to go this way. And then I exit. Wait. Nope. Here. Almost missed the exit. Like I said, you gotta pay attention. Good stuff. All right, left lane. Slow down. Toyonaka. And which way do I go? I think we're gonna cross over. Ooh, God bless you. My cat sneezed. Oh wait, wrong way. Oh man, almost missed that. All right. All right. Just, just avoided having to go around significantly, but that's fine. Got about 31 minutes of game time, maybe like another 15 to 20 minutes to the destination because of the map scale. Yeah, we're almost there, Chad. I like this because sometimes it's just satisfying to do very simple things. And I wish I had my family around me right now. I really do. They're out of state, so I have to make a deliberate effort to go see them. But hopefully that will happen sooner rather than later. Okay, exiting the highway now. Alright, I'll let the road slow me down. And I think I have to go here anyway. Yep, that's it. Gotta go this way. We are exiting at Suita. I've been around here multiple times. I think there's an airport around here somewhere. So let's see. Sharp left exit here. All right. 12:29 a.m. in simulated time. And we are en route to our destination. which is going to happen very shortly. I like how complex these road networks are sometimes. I think that's one of the reasons I liked playing SimCity 4 when I modified it, because you can actually drive cars with the deluxe edition pack, because it comes with rush hour. And then somebody figured out how to make the roads do even better things in terms of connectedness. So they made the roads look a little bit more realistic. All right, let's see. I'll merge right after this truck. Box truck. And now we're coming up on another exit. Ooh, that was a sharp curve. Wow. Nice. Do I want to do another delivery? I'm unsure. Maybe. Maybe. I mean, it's easy to get back to. It's not hard to get back to Kobe or to Osaka from here, and I could always, quick travel. Or we could do something else, some other game perhaps. I don't know. Okay, we have reached our destination. Progress find. We have found progress find. All right. Now, where do they need it? Right there? No, not happening. Let's take the easy way. Theoretically, I could do that, but I didn't feel I didn't feel like bothering with that right now. All right. All right. Now, parking brake, engine, and let's unload. Sweet, another 15-hour run in sim time. Not quite to level 11 yet, but we made another 745,000, almost 746,000 yen. So, all in a day's work. If I wanted to go on from here, I would either take a boat back at the Kobe Pier to Kitakyushu, or go from Suita to Tokyo to deliver some stuff. I honestly don't know though. Well, one thing I probably could do is make sure Mrs. DIGI's okay, and then come back and see what's next on the docket. Before I do that, let me just check and see what the buttons are that I can use or map to shortcuts. throttle, wipers, light modes, horn, differential lock, lift, drop axle. Ooh, I did not bother setting up cruise control. Cruise control, adaptive cruise control mode. Ooh, this is probably going to help me out. I could probably do a whole column for cruise control and adaptive. And they even have options for toggling lane assist. Dude. Front suspension, trailer, engine brake, which I do not have mapped to any buttons on my joystick. And there's also dashboard mode. So route advisor modes, route advisor mouse control. I can switch between individual settings for I think the bonus screen that you see with the GPS data. Assistant actions, truck adjustment. Interesting. Okay, I mean, I have options. Run, crouch, photo mode, auxiliary cameras. I don't know how you would get out of the truck. That's interesting. Quick actions, radio. Yeah. Okay. Things I'm probably going to check out in the near future. But I've already had fun mapping the buttons to my Stream Deck. So this is an interesting adventure. Folks, let me get up and use my legs for a little while. I'm going to check in on Mrs. DIGI and see what we have planned for the rest of the afternoon. She'll be back shortly, and then we'll decide whether or not we're going to do another run in the trucking world, or if we're going to do something else, or if we're going to call it here. But sit tight, BRB. Lord willing, I shall return shortly. All right, thanks for your patience. I have returned. I just checked in briefly with Mrs. Digi to see how she was, what she was up to. And she is working on some crafting at the moment. And I am untangling some cabling here, issues. Where are we? We made it to Suita after leaving Takayama, and there is still a bunch of places to go to. I did actually experiment at one point with having fun on track, but the track is big, and as you can imagine, driving a trailer like a performance vehicle is going to humble you a bit with the lack of performance as well as cornering. But this is actually the entire map, and they've modeled these areas that you see. I've driven, I'd say, most of, but not all of the roads at this point. I think they are working on another update to this, which is going to open up even more areas, or at least that's what I hope. But I also don't know how far along they are. Project Japan is clearly a freeware project. And I mean, I'm sure they take donations too, but I don't think that anybody's making this their full-time job. What is this? I'm curious. Let me get on the road actually. I want to see what this is. I'm not sure if this is like the airport or something. Because when we came in, we exited the road. We went we went this way, then we went around. Wow. Yeah, it took a while to get back there. So I suspect, because we're on this side of the road, we're gonna have to go around and around to get to that spot. We took a sharp left, we took a sharp right to get to our place, so I can't just like back up. Although I could, if I was careful about it. Could I quick travel there? No, because that's the route I have to take. Go down this way, go through town. But it wouldn't be that complicated actually. It would just take a little while, that's all. I get the feeling I've been there before. Where else would I go? Yeah, chat, I don't know. I'm kind of drawing blanks here. What else could we do today? We could probably mess around a little bit in Microsoft Flight Simulator. Do some flights in a major city or something. Actually haven't visited Japan in the Sims, so I could like fly around in the helicopter or just enjoy the landscape a bit. But I don't know. What time is it? It's about 4:36. Where do I want to go? Is there a chance that I can do any kind of freight job that's local? I don't think so. Oh no, I'm wrong. Nice. It is actually possible to do a job that doesn't require you to get on a boat. That's dope. It's local, so it's it's not going to pay a lot. Yes. Okay. Okay. I don't know. Now this is gonna make me want a third cup of coffee. Wait. Hold on. Did I make myself a second? Yes, I'm sure I did. And I drank it all. Bummer. Uh, yes, I'm a creature of comfort. What am I going to tell you? Tell you what, one little quick run to deliver canned iced coffee back to Kobe. And then I think what's going to happen is we're going to call it. I'm good with that. All right. Let's see. That's the engine, and that's the parking brake. Got it. First thing I got to do is get to the destination to pick up the cargo. Okay, with this truck not having cargo, it's going to haul, which is kind of fun. Think of it think of it as an extremely top-heavy SUV that can't go off-road. Chat, if you're lurking, if you're like me, and if you are at all concerned about or wondering about, um, oh wait a minute, hold on, I have to go that way. Which way am I? Where am I? Oh, I can't go this way. I can theoretically top up here. I mean, I am at the gas station, so not a bad idea. Let's add some gas. Let's go. Wow, that's a wicked van. Have to go pick up the cargo. But, like I was saying before, um, if you are lurking and if you are like me right now, you're probably pondering what you're going to do with the rest of your afternoon. You might be thinking about friends or loved ones, or just figuring out what you want to do with the rest of your Saturday or the rest of your weekend. I appreciate all of you hanging out and saying hello, or just lurking and bringing up the channel algorithm, as it were. Thank you for being here. Thank you for thank you for choosing to spend part of your day with me. It is something which I genuinely do not take for granted. So thank you for being here. I pray you are blessed and encouraged today, and that you are helped to whatever extent you need help. Hmm, that's interesting. Doesn't want to open. I'm like right by the door. I wonder if it's because of my proximity to it. Excuse me. Okay, that'll do. Here's my job. Well, hang on. I wanted to see the job that took me to Kobe. Another one of those switcheroos, I guess. Unless I'm actually at the wrong spot? Would not be the first time. Wouldn't be the first time at all. No, wait. Yeah, this is the spot. All right, hang on, hang on, hang on. The job that I chose, did it expire? I guess it expired. Oh, that sucks. Let's see, Kitakyusu, and I was in Suita. Yeah, I guess it did expire. Look, you have jobs that expire literally in like minutes. I didn't pay attention to that. So, okay, that's not the game's fault, that's my fault. Um, all right, let me check and see what jobs are available here. Bummer. Suita to Tokyo. Once I get to Tokyo, that's not bad. I just have to drive back to the pier. I'm not going back to Takayama. That's a given. Okay, okay. I'll take peas to Tokyo. Fine. I feel like I got baited and switched again, but whatever. This will be it. Thank you, and okay. Let's go. Hitch up. Now we can get out of here and get back on the road. And I almost struck a trailer. Well, this is going to be tricky. Very tricky. Okay. Am I going to hit that pole? Probably. Alright, so once I clear that pole, I can get right up on the sidewalk. And then I can swing wide. Here we go. And out. Got stuck for a mo, but got that figured out. Praise the Lord. Alright, so third and final delivery of the evening is going to be taking us back to Tokyo. Which is cool. I'm down. I'm down. Actually, I haven't driven around in Tokyo in a little bit anyway, so that's cool. In this sim. All right. Left turn. All right. Bye bye, Metro Osaka, or Osaka Burbs. We out of here. Electronic toll collection card. Is it ready? Let's go get it. So what we have, left turn right here. Zig left, zag right. And we go. I'm hoping we get a little bit of daylight when we get to Tokyo. I think the ferry ride will be about 12 hours. I think. So we should at least have some afternoon sunshine. I can only hope. Okay, gonna cut through Nishinomiya to get to the pier or the bay. There's more than a few places, excuse me, that I haven't been to around here. Might have to explore them when I get to a little more time. I think the ship's coming up on my left. Yeah, here we go. Another couple of turns away. Alright, so the lion's share of the driving has been done. We just gotta get on the boat, go to Tokyo, turn a few corners, and drop off the cargo. Then we say so long to Osaka and Kobe, and then head over to Tokyo. Oof, man. All right. 21 hours, which means we're not going to see daylight. Oh, well. At least this place looks great at night. That's fine, I guess. All right, so we are leaving the pier. And we are on our way over to our final delivery point for this evening. Again, big thanks to everybody that stopped by. A big thanks, of course, to Iowa Scotsman for the Tier 1 resub. And to everyone hanging out, lurking, or otherwise. Appreciate you. Thank you for spending part of your day with me. We are dropping off our cargo, and then we're going to be probably heading out. I don't know who else I would raid out to, unless Silent Scotty was actually streaming. I know a few days ago they were doing a trucking for leukemia event. I think. I think they were. I don't know if they're doing that today. And I think our entrance is right here. Okay. Wonderful. Heh, nope. I'm taking it easy. Beautiful. 3 deliveries, 1 stream. I'm okay with that. brake, and engine. All right, we're good. Quiet evening in Tokyo. Let's go ahead, unload the cargo, and wrap it up. Pardon me. And in one day, I have justified the use of my imitation Stream Deck for a little bit of fun in Euro Truck Simulator 2 via the Project Japan map. So that is going to do it for today. Let me take a look and see who is around right now that we can say hello to. I'm not expecting to find anybody. It's only 5 o'clock Eastern Time. So let me see. Save myself some bandwidth and go high to low. Close some of these windows. There are plenty of people on right now. Not saying the opposite of it, but who could I say hello to that is driving an actual truck at the moment? Um, I don't know. I don't know, honestly. Let's see. Silent Scotty is most likely not on. I do not see him. Is anybody doing Euro trucking in my follow thread? Oh, well, tell you what. All About That Space is actually doing American Truck Sim. So let's read out to All About That Space. Let's read out to him. Read all about that space. All right, folks, my friends, thank you very much for being here, being present today, or lurking. If you said hello, great. If you didn't, thanks for being here. And I'm gonna go ahead and read out. Like I always like this. Oh wait, did I do that correctly? Wait, I need to copy the thing correctly. Oh, apparently there were three L's. There we go. Great. Setting up, stick around for the raid if you want to see more trucking content. And again, like I always like to say at the end of every stream, if you want true peace, you really do want the Prince of Peace, and that is Jesus. More trucking content may not be here for a little bit, but I decided to have a little bit of fun with ETS because of the weekend in Japan, so to speak. So let's go say hi to All About That Space and take care, folks. Until next time, I will see you, Lord willing, soon. And check the Discord if you're on it for more updates. Take care. Bye.